everyone. Good evening. I'm Chris Cahill coming to you live from Skidrow Studios in downtown Los Angeles. And the name of the show is Psychic Every Day. Hello there. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for showing up and for being here, for listening. I know more of you are checking in all the time, and I'm just really happy to be back live. I'm at Skidrow Studios, as I mentioned, in downtown Los Angeles, and we are real radio on the internet. And I want to say hello to a couple of people who are here. In fact, Jenny, who is doing my board tech.
Yeah, board up.
Board up. Hi, Jenny. Good evening.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Good. How is it in the booth tonight?
It's really nice, very calming right before your show, too. So
that's cool. Mm-hmm. Well, thanks. Well, it's good to see you. You look great.
Thank you. I'm excited for today's show.
Well, me too.
Yeah. You gave me a reading when your topic was on prosperity.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see what else I can get out of this.
Probably. I bet you'll be getting more readings when you're my board op. I have a feeling.
I'll see what I can connect from the good ideas that you say.
Well,
so we'll see.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll introduce them. And I also want to mention to everybody that if you're at skidrowstudios.com, then you're already listening, but there's a live video button, and you can watch me do the show while you are listening. So that's really fun. We also have the Skidrow has an app in iTunes for your smartphone that you can use to make it easier to listen to the show. And I know it works because I put it on my iPhone, and it does. And you can go to Stitcher.com if you would prefer to do that, because we're on there as well. So anyway, welcome. Good to see you all. It is a new month, and I have a new theme. So Jenny was just mentioning the reading I gave her that was kind of like a prelude to what I decided to do for the whole month of April 2014, which is to focus on the energy of prosperity. And so my theme throughout April is going to be prosperity. Now, I'm going to be coming at it from a lot of different angles throughout the month. And so starting with tonight's show is giving and receiving. And so I'll be going into that, and I'll be, by the way, just to mention it now, I'll be giving some readings on your giving and receiving tonight. So you can call as I get started, give me a call at 1-800-893-9562. You might want to write that number down, and then just as we get into the show, if you would like to have a little mini reading on giving and receiving, please call. Next week, April 9th, I'll be doing a show on creativity and prosperity, which is another big sort of sub-theme I'm working right now. The third week in April is April 16th. I'll be doing a show called Magic and Miracles. Then on the 23rd, Money and Prosperity. And then on the 30th, Scarcity is a Lie, which is a show I've done before, but I want to repeat it because it works with this. So that's what you got coming up. 5 shows this month. If you're new here, if you're a brand new listener, or you just started recently finding my podcast on iTunes or my show here at Skidrow, I want to thank you for that. And all you regular listeners, you people who write to me and call me and tell me about how much you like the show and give me some feedback and all that. I love it. So thank you so much. It's been really building over the past few months, and I'm excited about that. So let me just get into tonight's theme. As I mentioned, I already said I'm excited. Giving and receiving. And giving and receiving are really two sides of the same coin. They really are a similar kind of energy. And it's, a lot about going with the flow. Giving, in this case, isn't giving away, and receiving isn't taking. And I'll get into more about what I mean by that in just a few minutes. Active and receptive. Being actively in a space of giving, and you can actually be actively receiving too. But there's also the receptive, which is, and basically in general, these are spiritual abilities that we're talking about. Giving and receiving are spiritual abilities. And that's something to keep in mind, because everything does start with energy, with spirit. So even your prosperity is affected by your ability to give and your ability to receive. So you working with your own prosperity, if this indeed, I invite you to come along with me for the journey this month on working with prosperity. I'm going to spend the whole month on it, as I mentioned, but this is just one example of what you can be doing to work on your own prosperity, taking a look at the energy of your giving and your receiving, not from a place of judging it. Are you doing it right? Are you doing it wrong? But just simply, is it working for you? Are you getting to have a consciousness about how these energies, these abilities work in your own life? So I want to get into this a little bit. First of all, as I mentioned a moment ago, giving is not giving away. So here are some ways that you give. You can give. There's a consciousness about give or just giving to others, but there's also a giving without really needing to kind of give till you bleed. Like you don't have to give it away. It's not a martyr energy. It's not about giving till it hurts necessarily. It's more about just being in that place where you have a giving. There's a giving that is an easy flow for you. So you can give compliments. You can give a hello. You give by listening, by participating, by being present. Believe it or not, the greatest gift you can give to other people is to know who you are and where you are. To know who you are, meaning who you as a being are. And where is your energy? Where are you right now? And that's a really wonderful gift that you give just by having that. That's a consciousness. By healing yourself, you also give. So when you're in a place of self-healing, you're also giving. This is a very important thing to keep in mind, because a lot of us, especially those of us who think we have to go heal the world and be responsible for everything and take care of people and give, we forget that actually one of the best ways we give is by really being well. And, this doesn't mean that if you're not well or you're going through a time of where you're having some big health challenges that you're doing something wrong. Not at all. There's just a consciousness about creating a wellness. Now, as I talked about on a recent show, prosperity is spiritual wellness. It's really a place of spiritual well-being. And it's a wonderful thing to keep in mind when you are working on your own giving and receiving, to kind of work on that prosperity level too. So again, by giving to yourself, by healing yourself, you are also giving to others. Now, here's a couple things that you can do that can really help you. Some easy ways you can be giving to other people. And, here's another thing about giving. Remember how good it feels to be able to give. And you can give gifts all day long without spending a penny. You don't have to go out and spend any money on anybody, and you can be giving gifts all day long. It's really a lot about your attitude and how you consciously say hello to people, and that's really a big part of it. So, yes, really, number one of the easiest ways you can give is say hello to people, even those you don't know. So say hello to your waiter, your cashier, your cab driver, your bus driver, mail carrier, delivery person. In other words, all the people who serve you. If you're in the habit of just kind of taking what's given, that what's being handed to you or what's being done for you without saying hello or thank you or please or being nice, saying hello to the other person's spirit on some level, then you are kind of you're just taking it for granted. Say hello. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. You might have those days where you're just feeling like you're in the bottom of a trash can and you don't feel very good and it's not great energy and you don't feel like being all happy, joy, sunny. Then don't. That's fine. It's not about being perfect. It's about acknowledging people around you. And you give gifts when you do that. It might be something you already do. I've told this story on the show before. I don't remember when I told it, but it's really one of my favorite stories about saying hello to people who are serving me. When I first moved out to Los Angeles, and this is going on almost 8 years now, it's a little over 7 years, I needed new lipstick immediately, and I went to a MAC counter at a Macy's in Sherman Oaks. And I needed to go to the Macy's for something, and I went and I'm like, I'm going to go buy myself new lipstick. I just need a new color. I'm in Los Angeles. That's just how it is. And the woman who was waiting on me, the young woman waiting on me, was so friendly. She was really just great, and she helped me so well. She was, I said hello to her when I came up to the counter. Hello, how are you? And hey, I'm looking for some lipstick. I need hot pink or something like that. Whatever I said. And she was just great. We just had a really nice chat, and just as she's waiting on me, she's saying hello to me. And we're giving each other information. I told her I just moved here. I was asking her advice on what store to go to for something, whatever. And she said, she looked at me and she said, I knew you weren't from here. And I said, oh, really? How'd you know? Did I sound funny or something? And she said, no, because you're nice. I said, are you kidding me? Are people who come to this Macy's here in Sherman Oaks not nice to you? And she said, so many people who come in are so rude and not very friendly. They don't even say hello. They kind of don't even look at you. And I thought, how sad for them. How very sad. And I know it's not just that place. It's, many places. You see people all the time out in public saying hello to each other, and then other people who are kind of just trying to get through with the least amount of human contact possible. And whatever, that's generally an unconsciousness. But this is one of the great ways you give gifts to people is by saying hello to them. And, I've also had the reverse happen where a salesperson didn't look at me or say hello. They don't know how to do that. So whatever, I still say hello, and I think it always is happy for me that I do. Now, number 2, here's another way you can give and give without giving away. Let go of judgments. In other words, just don't be in judgment. Let go of judging yourself. Let go of judging the other people that you're around or people who you meet or see. Allow others to be where they are, even if where they're being is not looking like a happy place to you. So you give a gift when you just acknowledge another human being without needing to judge where they are. Hey, everybody, just a reminder, I am Chris Cahill. You're listening to Psychic Everyday Radio at skidrowstudios.com. And our number here is 800-893-9562. I'm doing a show about giving and receiving, and I'd like to give you a reading, by the way. That's a gift. And so give me a call. You can give me a call, and I will give you a reading. That's a pretty fair exchange. Here's another way you can give a gift or give gifts without giving away. This is one of my favorite ones, especially on days when traffic is driving me nuts. Say hello to your fellow drivers out in traffic on the freeway. I don't mean roll your window down and start waving and yelling at people. It's sort of a silent, spiritual hello, kind of like a hello. And I've done it this way where when it just seemed, especially those mornings, you know how when it's just a rush morning or a rush evening, and people are just zipping all over the place, and sometimes the energy just feels a little crazy, and it's a little scary even, especially when people are going really fast, at a really fast pace, and they're speeding or they're going very quickly trying to get ahead of each other. And what I've done sometimes is just simply send a little hello to the different people around me and just say something like, I trust that you're going to drive really well. I trust that that you see me and that you're going to drive well. And of course, I'm paying attention myself. I'm not just trusting with my eyes closed, but that usually works. It's kind of a cool thing. It does work. My whole energy changed, my whole attitude. I'm not competing with them. I'm saying hello. Now, another thing that works is when people are trying to get in front of you in traffic, let them in. Like if somebody's there and they've got their blinker on and they're like, can you let me in? Let them in. It's really funny to me how often I see people will put on a blinker and then the person who could have let them in speeds up instead. It's really annoying. I just find that it really kind of hilarious. Like, come on, people, give. I mean, we're not going to get there any faster than anybody else, just do it. So that's a gift. That's a really a nice gift for the modern world in this crazy time when everybody's going through stuff. Everybody has issues. Everybody's got problems to solve. Everybody's got things on their plate. Many people are sensitive. It's not just you. And it can be really easy to kind of take things personally sometimes. I know I have, and when it was just not warranted. And later on, feeling a little embarrassed, going, you know what? That really wasn't about me. It was more about just whatever was happening with that person, and it's not a problem, and I can let that go. Now, here's one of my favorite ways you can give without giving away your energy. Give by being fully present, like by showing up, by being present, your whole self. You don't have to be perfect. It's not about being perfect or having to do things a certain way. It's about the presence of your own energy, you being there. And just having an awareness on your effect on others by how you are being in your own space makes a big difference in terms of what happens in that gift you are giving. This is another way that spending time taking care of you will pay off in your relationships, because when you're fully present with other people, you are actually contributing or building or helping to heal or create relationships you have, relationships you're trying to create. We live in a time in our evolution where that communication, that social interaction, the connections are really important. People are all creating new things, and we need each other as our best customers, as our friends, as our clients, as our fan base, as our, just like we give to each other. There's a lot of creating going on, a lot more permission. So give by being present. Okay, now I know you are listening because I am looking at my board and there are people listening. So I'm sure you want to get a reading tonight, and I'd love to give a few. And again, the number is 800-893-9562. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're testing our calls. If you've been trying to call and you're frustrated, don't worry. We're testing. We're checking to see. Now, here's another thing about giving. Being able to give. Oh, good. All right, good. Being able to give without giving away. This goes into whatever you do for a living. Be there fully. Be present. And, don't drag your crabby mood to work with you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody around you is also sensitive, and they're going through things, and it's like a deal. Like, you don't have to be perfect, but bring yourself with you. Jenny, did you say I have a caller? I don't see it on my board. My board doesn't have any callers. Oh, now I got a caller. Thank you. Cool. Hey there. Hello.
Hi, Chris.
You are live. Who's this?
This is Bonnie. How are you?
I'm good, Bonnie. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing fine. I like your little lead in there to be present at work and not bring your crankiness with you.
Excellent.
Yeah. I often tell people that they have their cranky pants on and should just take them off because it's not fun for everybody else.
That's great that you say that. My sister, my youngest sister used to say to her teenagers, take that frown and turn it upside down. Mostly because I think she knew it irritated them, but...
Right. Well, they're teenagers. A lot of things irritate them.
Yeah, you can't blame them. And it's like...
No.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Well, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you're doing this.
I wouldn't go back to.
Well, I wouldn't either. Forget it. No.
Yeah,
no.
That's a tough time. That's a tough growing time.
It really is. And we think that now is crazy. Being teenagers, think about it this way. Being teenagers prepared us all to be living through a time that's as intense as this one. How's that?
Okay.
I'm going with it. It's just my theory.
I still think being a teenager is much more intense.
I think so, too.
You have no life experience to back it on, and you have hormones raging, and everybody's telling you what to do, and you're like, I have no control over my life.
Everybody shut up. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Wow.
At least at this point in life, I can generally say, no, I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. Exactly. Well, and speaking of which, would you like, not that it's about not doing that, but would you like to have a reading on tonight's topic?
I would like you to do that.
Fantastic. Well, how I'm going to go about this is kind of not looking at it from, as you already know, I'm just kind of explaining it for everybody, not from a place of judging whether you're doing it right or wrong, but just looking to see in present time where it looks you're growing with giving and receiving.
Excellent.
And so it's kind of like looking at two separate things, but just sort of how they work together too. And the picture I see is you've been tinkering both ends of this equation, giving and receiving. So you've been getting more conscious about this whole concept. And one of the ways I see you doing that is it looks like you had the picture is your givingness for a while was kind of like somebody turned on the garden hose all the way and then forgot to turn it off, and it was leaking. And you realized, I forgot to turn it off or to turn it down, and turn it back on when I want to turn it on and then turn it off. And it's not that it's not about not giving. It's just about not letting it kind of get taken away. So it
and
looks
not
like
feeling like you constantly have to be the one doing that.
exactly. So it looks like you've tinkered it, you've played with it, and you've gotten rid of the leak, and you're keeping an eye on it, not letting it just, because it would get out of control for you. Like you didn't have, it was programming. You didn't really have control over it. It was an unconsciousness, and now you do much more. There's much more awareness now. And then with the receiving, it looks like the same thing. You would keep an eye on that and actually keep it turned off. You weren't allowing yourself, you wanted to receive, but there was like the same, it was sort of like two sides of the same coin. There was a thing that said, no, you shouldn't have that. Like it wasn't that you said that, it was an unconsciousness again, but I see that it was also a control. It was kind of like you were controlling the flow. And I see that right now in present time, you're playing with both. And for you too, and I know it's true for others as well, this has a lot to do with those female, male, active, passive, or passive not being negative, more about receptive modes, consciousnesses, spiritual abilities, and you're balancing them more. So it looks like in present time, the place I see you working is actually really working on that giving, sort of paying attention to giving, because you're also, one of the things I see you're trying to do, Bonnie, is kind of learn how to direct the hose more at yourself, like giving more to you in a real positive way. And that's one of the big places you're growing right now. So
that's funny. I feel like you're dead on.
Right on. Well, I'm glad.
Especially with the receiving thing, because it's difficulty with that sometimes is feeling that you're worthy of receiving or letting people do for you.
There you go.
And what I've been trying to do is realize that by letting them do for me, I'm giving them the gift of being able to give to others.
Exactly. And that's a ding, 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 ding. That's exactly what I was going to, when I start talking about receiving. That's a big point that I'm making. It's about not controlling the flow, allowing yourself to have. Fantastic.
It's a big one.
It is a big one.
Yeah.
It keeps it all flowing then, too.
It keeps it all flowing.
Keeps it all flowing. And then the flowers get watered. Right on.
Excellent.
All right, good. Well, thank you, Bonnie. Good talking to you this week.
You too.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. I am Chris Cahill. You're listening to Psychic Everyday Radio at skidrowstudios.com. And we are Real Radio on the internet. I'm halfway through my show and I have a few announcements for you. So again, this being a month of prosperity, not only are all my radio shows about prosperity, I'm also offering specials with my work, with the things I do. I'm a psychic. I give readings. It's what I do for a living. I teach. I have classes, all these things. So coming up this month in April, these are my specials. I am offering a reading called the Prosperity Reading. It is available through April 30th. I had it through March, and then I've given some, and I really love doing this reading, and I want to do more. So it's lower than my normal reading price. You can read about it on my website, chriscahill.com, or my blog, psychiceveryday.com. If you would like to sign up for a prosperity reading, let me know. You can communicate to me through my site, and you can sign up there. Then I am also teaching a workshop. I have not taught a live workshop on my own. I've taught it with others, but I haven't done one on my own for a few years now, and I'm getting back into it, and I'm really excited. I'm getting a lot of people signing up. So if you are interested in joining my workshop, it is called the Creativity and Prosperity Workshop. It is Sunday, April 13th from 1 until 3 o'clock in North Hollywood here in California. So I've been having more and more people signing up every day. If you are interested in attending this workshop, I highly recommend you sign up in advance. You save $5 that way. It's already very inexpensive. It's $15 to come to this workshop, and it's $20 cash at the door. So if you're not sure you can come that day and you're going to kind of take your chances at the last minute, you can still get in if there's room. And let's see, you can sign up on my website, again, at the Creativity and Prosperity Workshop under classes. And I will look forward to seeing you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I didn't tell people this yet, but I'm going to be giving away gifts during my workshop. So some of the attendees who attend who are there live are going to receive some gifts. La, la, la. Not saying what they are yet, but they're good ones. Now, I have one more suggestion about how you can give gifts. One way you can give gifts that you probably already do, this one. It's just intuitive. It's something that just feels good to do. Call people up directly to say hello. Especially people who would like to hear from you. Hello, Mom, or whoever. But call people up who you think might really want to have a good hello from you. And listen. Give by listening. Give a little gift by listening. Giving is an active thing. Giving is an action. It's an active mode of your spirit. You're giving. You're choosing to give. It's not, about being in, a lot of duress or stress over the giving. It's giving. I have another caller. Hello there. You're live.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Who is this?
This is Joyce calling from downtown.
Why, hello, Joyce. Thank you for calling. I don't remember you calling in before.
No, this is first time.
Right on. So did you just find my show?
Yes. I was perusing Skidrow, not Skidrow physically, but the radio, and I thought, wow, this looks like it has something to do with downtown.
Fantastic. It does. Well, I'm here downtown right now doing this live, so that's great. Nice talking to you.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I really like what you're saying because it's a lot about being skillful too, just aware, and I like that. And
that's great.
I love reading.
All right, good. Well, if you heard the last reading, you know what I'm doing. I'm taking a look at where I see your giving and receiving in present time, just kind of what that looks like. Not from a place of are you doing it right or not, but just simply let's see what the growth looks like.
Cool.
This picture I see with your giving in present time is that you're in a flow of giving, but it looks like you're in a comfortable flow of giving. It's not that you're obsessed about giving or that you're always worried about it. It looks like it's just simply a natural ability for you. You may have gotten to the point where you sort of trained yourself to let it be more smooth or more of an ability. And again, it's not about having to go and buy gifts for people all the time. It looks like there's this kind of, I see your spirit, like you having this part of you that sort of takes care of that. Like whether it's giving a hello to somebody or you're doing something nice for someone, or it's a thoughtfulness. It looks like it's a place that it just makes you feel good with yourself. So you also have an awareness too as a being that by giving, you're giving to yourself. You understand that's how the principle actually works. It's not even something I talked about much yet, but that's what it looks like, is that you're in this place of letting yourself be in a space of giving to others. And it's not hard, and it's not like you're, it's not like you're thinking about it all the time. It's just simply there's this, I see this picture, the specific picture is you getting off the phone with somebody, with a friend or a family member, and they're going, I want to give him this. I want to give her that. Like, oh, she would like this. That would be nice. And just little nice things. So there's a real lovely flow. And when I look at you on the receiving end, the picture I see is, it looks like you have a lot of intuition about receiving. It doesn't mean that it's always comfortable for you to receive. From the picture I'm looking at, it looks like you try to let yourself be surprised about receiving. Now, I don't know what that means exactly. The picture is you're letting yourself be, it's kind of like there's different surprises or different little things coming your way. And I see you playing a game with yourself, trying to remember how easy it was when you were younger, when you were a child, just of being on the receiving end of something and allowing. So it looks like that's one of the places you're working on. You're working on allowing your allowingness, if that makes sense to you. You're working on opening that up more and allowing it to flow in, and rather than worrying about it. Pardon?
Well, if there's a certain, for instance, with some family members, they're really trying, but just history says that it's really hard for them to give, even though they know they could be doing more to hold the, to hold the fort. How and then I want to be able to receive it, but I also have such diminished expectations because I know they're so incompetent. It's so hard.
Yeah. Well, then actually what I would do is, what it looks like you may want to do is not count on it to be coming from them. This is the place you're working. It's about being able to trust that you will receive. You can receive, but you don't get to control who brings it.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be able to give. They may not know how to.
But I think what you just said, trusting that you will receive.
Trusting that you will receive.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is about stepping out of control and allowing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it looks like, Joyce. And, there's this book I'm reading now that I think you'd really like. It's been around for a long time, so you might have already heard of it. It's been out for a while, and I think I'm reading it for like the third time right now. It's called Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. The Principles and Process of True Prosperity. It's pretty brilliant. I think it was originally published in the 90s, or I have a revised edition, but I love it. And I'm working with it as one of my books that I'm using this month as I'm working all this prosperity energy. And it's really neat. And one of the principles is about that. It's about receiving, like allowing without controlling.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for calling and for listening.
You bet.
Be well. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. We are continuing with a show about giving and receiving. And I would like to give some more readings tonight. So if you want to receive one, the number is 800-893-9562. Okay, now I've been talking about giving and giving and giving, giving without giving away, giving because you can, just giving because you exist, but giving because it's really natural, it's human, it's part of your spirit. Spirit is all about that flow of giving and receiving. And as Bonnie pointed out, my first caller, receiving, allowing yourself to be given to, gives others the gift of giving. And you know how good it feels to give. You may be one of those people who really likes to give. You're giving, you're kind of addicted to giving because it feels so good to do. But you also can be in a position of control that way. So I know some of the people I know who really know how to give have a hard time receiving. And if that has been you, then where you're working right now is on allowing receiving. So back to receiving, you can receive a hello. You can receive a gift. You can allow yourself to receive help, prosperity. You can receive that. Friendship, healing, a reading on your spirit. When I first trained as a clairvoyant at a clairvoyant training school in Chicago years ago, that was one of the things we learned about in the beginning of this training, about being able to give a spiritual hello, which is a reading. When I give a reading, I'm giving a hello to your spirit. I'm not trying to tell you what you should do or how it has to be or, just make any weird predictions or dire warnings. No, it's about looking at your spirit. Everything happens in present time in your spirit. And you can create miracles and change things amazingly when you get that hello or when you're able to have it. Not just, from a reader, but from yourself, being able to have your own spirit. So one of the things I learned in that training in the beginning was sometimes people don't want the hello. You might give a hello to someone and they might not be able to have it at that point. And I had that happen a number of times, especially when I was a new reader, because I didn't know how. Like I used to see myself in failure and think, oh no, I didn't give them a good reading and I failed and da-da-da. And then I'd have people come up to me afterward and say, you really saw it clearly. It just freaked me out. And that happened a few times, with people like later on. And, anyway, I mean, at this point I've had enough, so much experience that I'm not worried about that anymore. But I do know that getting a spiritual hello or being able to receive it is also a brilliant gift to you, and it's a gift to everyone. If you can have a hello to your spirit, if you can, wherever that comes from, if you can have the gift of receiving on that level, you become a gift. So if you are giving to yourself, you become a gift. If you are able to receive, you become a gift. And that's pretty brilliant. It's about dropping control and allowing yourself to receive. That's pretty cool. And I am going to have another reading right now. Hello, you're live. Hello, somebody there?
Hi, this is Patrick.
Why, hello, Patrick. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I love the topic tonight.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Chicago.
Oh, cool. Is this Patrick who I know?
Yeah.
Why, hello, Patrick.
I mean, I only know you from the radio. I've talked to you before
Yeah.
on the show.
Yeah, that's
We've
right.
never met. Yeah, and like giving and receiving is something that I'm currently working with another person.
Fantastic.
And we've actually been dialoguing about it just in the past couple of days, about like the gifts of giving and receiving. So I would be really interested in a reading on that.
What perfect timing. I think there's something in the air.
Yeah.
Well, good. Let me take a look at that for you, Patrick. With the giving and receiving. And what I'm going to do is just look at as I've been doing, look at the energy of where I see you in present time with your giving and your receiving. I see this picture of you with giving. It looks like it goes back to when you were really young, like a little boy, and you're really excited. You're making something or you're putting something together to give to your mom. Like it's either her birthday or Mother's Day or something. But the picture is you're really excited, like you really want her to like it. You really want it to be like you're trying to put into the gift not a demand, but what you're doing is really putting a lot of love into the gift. There's this picture of you giving with a lot of love, but from something that just came from your heart. And a lot of excitement about that, like wanting, it looks like too, when you learned how to give like that, there was just this excitement about how excited you were for the other person that you were giving them this, which I think is really cute. I mean, it's a great picture, but it's a lot about really thinking about that person, not about whether the gift is good or whether you're doing it right or something like that. It looks like it's more about you really you're just having the spirit that's all about wanting to give the thing that would give joy on some level. And it gives you so much joy. So I see that you're kind of bringing back some of that energy or that information about wanting to really give something that this other person likes and from a place of joy. And again, not just an object or a thing, but yourself. Because that actually looks to me like that was the bigger picture, was you were giving yourself. You were giving your love. And that's really beautiful. So I see in present time that you're also in this place of wanting it to be really clean. Like when you give, you're giving from a place of this true kind of feeling, this emotion. And it looks to me like, not to go off on, down another hallway here, but it looks like that's one of the places you're working on healing for yourself is on an emotional level, but it goes with this giving. And then receiving, I see this picture of you standing outside on the earth with your it's a beautiful, beautiful, just right before sunset, beautiful sky. It's really pretty. And there's all this gratitude you have about the earth and about how beautiful this sky is and the colors and all the rest of it. It's kind of magical to you. And I see you kind of just raising your hands a little bit up to the sky and just saying, wow, I'm receiving this. There's this receiving of what is. And it's effortless. It's not about, it looks like when you are in that moment, you're realizing the gift you're being given of just feeling good, being alive, that's a gift that you're receiving. So that looks to me like you're giving and receiving being tied together with the gifts you give. You're in this place where you're working at being able to come from a very true heart with your giving and receiving, and a place of having perspective with it. It looks like it's a beautiful growth period you're in right now. That's what I see.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah. I say enjoy it. Just let yourself enjoy.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I think you're breaking up on me, but I can still hear you as you're saying goodbye. Thank you, Patrick. Thanks for calling. Look forward to talking to you again. Okay. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. All right. We are continuing with a show about giving and receiving. Hey, Jenny, I'm having a hard time dropping that call for some. Oh, it's good? Okay, cool. All right. I'm Chris Cahill. You're listening to Skidrow Studios, and you're listening to Psychic Everyday Radio at Skidrow Studios in downtown Los Angeles. And the show tonight, the live show, is about giving and receiving. Now, continuing, I know a lot of things that have been coming up in this show tonight have been about letting go and trusting. And, again, these are prosperity energies. These are things that we all, we work with on some level or other. And, it's also a really important time to be looking at this, to be able to have for yourself a consciousness of being able to give and receive. So reminding you again that receiving is just as much a gift to whoever is giving as it is to yourself. So when you allow yourself to be given to, you're allowing someone to be in a place of giving, which is a delightful thing. This has everything to do with your prosperity. If you've been sort of shaking your head over your prosperity or your ability to have or your money flow or, things that are coming that you're wanting to have that are not coming to you, it's a good thing to look at what is happening with your giving and your receiving. Just, are you allowing? I have this picture sometimes of when the flow is coming in. It's kind of like I have my catcher's mitt and I'm just allowing it to come in. I'm not trying to control it. I've already done the work. I've put it out there. I've cleared the energy as best I can. I've said hello to people and I'm letting the energy come in and I'm just catching it and I'll kind of sort it out later. But there's a lot of giving and receiving in that too. In order for me to do the work I'm doing, I have to be able to receive so that I can give. And give in order to receive. It's just that flow back and forth. And that's true for you too. So when you're in receptive mode, you're trusting. You're allowing for that flow to come in. You are trusting. That is when prosperity can come to you, by the way. Now, when you're ready, when you're able to receive a hello to your spirit, a hello to your spirit on whatever level that is, you're able to allow someone to say, hello, I see you. I see you and I see who you are. I see what you're doing. Not from a place of judgment again, but just simply a hello to you. When you are able to have that and you allow that to come in or come to you, you're also in a receptive mode. And that is a gift. You're allowing yourself to receive a gift. If you would like to receive a gift of a reading, the number here is 800-893-9562. And I've got about another 10 minutes or so that I can do readings in. So give a call, would you, during the show? And we'll kind of get you a little bit of a reading on your giving and receiving. Now back to it. Now here's another point I wanted to make. I know I mentioned this already, but I want to say it again. You might work with people or be related to people or know people or been in relationships with people or friendships with people who have a really hard time kind of allowing themselves to really get that hello from you. Even if they got the hello originally, where you might have said to somebody, wow, hello, I really get you. I see you. And then there's kind of a connection between you. And it might be that sometimes what happens is the person who you're trying to give the hello to just can't have it. They just have a really hard time with receiving or with that intimacy that comes from giving a hello to somebody. And that's true for many of us. Sometimes we just, want to protect or cover ourselves up a little or feel protective of what we're doing, not kind of get caught up in the demand that somehow we open up and be very present. When you receive, there's sort of a demand to actually open up a little bit, to allow. And you might, everyone's got their comfort zone, so you might have a little comfort zone on that. And that's kind of a thing. One thing I want to mention, I don't have a caller screen. Is there anybody? If there is someone and I don't see him, let me know. Okay, cool. We're having just a little screen issue, but I think it's getting better. But that's part of it. When you're creating intimate relationships with people, whether it's with a friendship, a close friendship, or really wanting to get to know people better on some level, it demands a little bit of giving and receiving in the communication and the way that you two relate to each other, you two, or even more. There might be other people involved, whether it's a work community or a teaching community or a family where you're trying to kind of create some sort of intimacy between the people who are involved, a direct, honest communication. And honesty is also a way that you give in a way that makes it easier for you to receive. So that's another suggestion in giving and receiving. There is that whole level of being honest with yourself and honest with others. When you're not completely honest, or when you kind of hold back, whether it's not holding back on telling yourself something or something you really feel or want, or doing that with someone else, you put up a little barrier. You make it difficult for that flow to happen. And that can happen in the giving and receiving. Now, I mentioned in the beginning that giving and receiving are both abilities, and they are. Being able to give is a spiritual ability. Giving, a giving spirit, somebody who can really give. As an example, remember the movie, the play, the story, A Christmas Carol. And Scrooge is the character who had no giving spirit. He could not have giving. It was all about money. It was all about what he could get from others, what he could take, not about giving at all. And the beauty of the story and why it's become just, completely a popular it's a fable for our time. It really is. And it's especially important now when you see so much of this. People think that the way that they are actually having prosperity is to take. No, that's not how you have prosperity on any level from anybody. But it's about the giving, being able to give. That really shows how prosperous you are, being able to give. And that was the wonderful thing about that story, is that Scrooge it wasn't too late. He was able to kind of wake up and say, okay, I realize now what it's all about. I'm here to give. I'm here to give. I've already received. I am so wealthy beyond belief. And that's another thing. When you have a giving spirit, as well as a receptive spirit, you are in agreement that there is plenty that you can have because there is prosperity. It does exist. When people zip ahead of each other on the highway and don't give anybody a break, they're going from a lie that there isn't enough time, or there isn't enough road, or there isn't enough room, or there isn't enough. When you get into the place of giving and receiving, you allow yourself to be in the truth that actually there is plenty. And we give to each other, we will not run out. Again, it's from that place of giving, not giving away. And so if you've been on the other end of giving away, giving till it hurts, then you're kind of missing the point too. You're giving from a different kind of level. If you've been feeling guilty about receiving, or if you've been limiting what you can receive, you've also been believing a lie about prosperity, that there isn't enough. Or actually, as one of the callers mentioned, you've been believing the lie that somehow you're not worthy or you don't deserve. And that's one that a lot of us grew up with. Wherever that thing came from, that lie that somehow I am not worthy. I should not receive. I'm not worthy of being given to. I need to be the one who constantly gives to others. And that can create kind of a little, kerfuffle when you're trying to create prosperity. So back to prosperity, which is, again, really what the whole month is about here at Psychic Everyday Radio. If you're working the energies of giving and receiving, and you start to become conscious of your own giving and receiving, and I suggest you do so this week. Like, take it, just like think of it as your week of between now and next Wednesday. You're just going to start becoming more aware or conscious of how you give, how you receive, how that has worked in your lifetime, how your family does that, how you notice it out in the world. And again, not trying to fix or solve it for anyone else, but making the adjustments for yourself that make it easier for you to have giving and receiving, and that actually help you open up a flow. When you have that flow happening, that giving and receiving, it might be that, you do something as simple as wake up in the morning and just kind of ask yourself, well, how can I give today? How can I be of service? That's a pretty neat question. I often ask that one. I'm like, how can I give today? I really want to. And I know that it's a wonderful way for me to get my flow going too. And it also helps with the fact that I also want to receive. I'm open to it. I'm like, yeah, come on, bring it. The good stuff. you can receive a lot of stuff, but it's about being able to receive the things that are happy and pleasant and that you want too. So getting in that place of how can I give? What can I give? What can I do? Or how can I be? My suggestions, a few things I want to kind of wrap up the show with. Take care of your own energy. That was one of my big ones, big suggestions. So take care of your own energy, meaning be conscious of where your energy is and what you're doing with it. And I suggest you use that this week. Just kind of have an awareness. You don't have to be all nitpicky and, hanging all over yourself thinking you're doing things wrong. Just simply start to pay attention, get more consciousness. What do I do with my energy? Do I open up that flow? Do I allow that giving and receiving to happen? Or do I kind of shut it down in certain circumstances? Do I go into resistance? Or do I worry about it? Or am I counting it? And if you were raised in a family that counted everything, just I did this for that person, so now they owe me, that kind of shuts it down too. It's not about owing. It's not about, you have to have an equal balance. It's about having an open heart, deciding you can give because you can. And the way I see it, the person who can really give and knows how to do that really is the one who's prosperous too. Again, remembering that's giving without having to be the martyr giving it away. The person who's giving away her energy or his energy to the point of hurting himself or herself is not really in a space of giving. It's more about driving themselves into the ground. And that actually takes from others. It doesn't give. It puts other people in pain because that's what you're doing. And if you've been doing that, taking on other people's pain, then you get to stop that. This is what you get to be conscious of and realize that actually doesn't work. It kind of shuts your flow down too. Giving and receiving, it's this circle, this kind of flow that you can get going. So what I suggest, again, just keep that going this week. Start to play with it. Start to work with it and start to actually open up to the idea of receiving gifts, fun gifts, nice surprises, fun things coming your way. Just if you have that attitude that I can receive, I'm just really open to receiving beautiful, lovely gifts from, wherever, from whoever. Let them come in and just start to notice what happens. Open yourself up to receiving, money just coming your way or new friends or people who are helpful or happy people around you or good experiences rather than assuming the negative. Oh no, I'm about to get on the 405. Oh, this is going to be hell. What if actually you decided, well, I'm open to it actually being really good and flowing. It just might. You never know. I mean, why not? It can happen. It's happened for me. I've done that. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to know. My intuition's just going to kick in and I'm going to know what route to take that's going to get me there without, being annoying. And that works. So that's my suggestion to you. I hope you had fun listening to this show. This is the end of another Psychic Everyday radio show at skidrowstudios.com. Find me here, and I'm Chris Cahill. Find me here every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Pacific time at skidrowstudios.com. And you can also find this show on iTunes. It is a free podcast. Please sign up for my podcast. Subscribe to it. And if you'd like to give a gift to me because you like my show and you gain from it, go give me a review on iTunes or share it. Tell people about it. Let your friends know. I also want to mention that I have a website with a newsletter sign up. I do a free weekly newsletter, and people who sign up for my newsletter get it every Wednesday very early, and it has gifts in it. I get free meditations every month. There's a new free meditation, and there's an ongoing one that I always give called Grounding Yourself to people who sign up, to my subscribers. I never spam you. I just basically send you a newsletter a week with my news and about classes and shows and so on. So go check that out at chriscahill.com. Also, my blog is psychiceveryday.com, and you can learn more about my classes and my readings. I have a lot of articles on my blog, a lot about energy and spirit and all the rest of it. So I want to say thank you. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Skidrow Studios. Thank you, Amadeus, for your beautiful music that I use for this show. And thank you all, my listeners and callers and fans. I really appreciate you all. Love hearing from you. Have a great week of giving and receiving, and I'll see you next week.